Blue won't be joining us this session.
Yes.
Just because she is overworked and needs to rest.
So, where we last off with our coterie, Grayson and Acer finally delved into taking a hard look at the strange human-fleshed tome that they drug out of the mountain of Mount Rainier. It was then that Berchtold entered the scene upon request from his childer. The three together discovered that the book, while not sentient per se, hungers. A strange condition seems to be surrounded to this tome. Grayson and Berchtold working together, sharing the burden of feeding it, for the sake of experimentation, discovered that this tome would come to life in the sense of its blank pages filled with writing and scrawlings, notes, as long as blood was given to it freely, or forcibly if the book hungered enough. But if fed, strange abilities and rituals of the arcane and dark secrets began to unfold themselves, along with a very specific name written in ancient Romanian, which would be translated to the Impaler's Tome. Berchtold, seeing the significance of this artifact, was pleased and moved to claim it, to honor Grayson's wishes of finally joining with the rest of his clan and becoming part of the Seattle Chantry. Grayson, however, disagreed on his terms. While yes, he does want to join the Chantry, removing the book from his possession was not something he was willing to part with. In a heated social conflict between two Tremere and a thin blood caught in the middle is a gross understatement. However, despite the tenuous situation, violence hanging beneath the surface than a razor's edge, Berchtold, unfortunately for him, lost face. For after questioning Grayson's potential, the duo questioned his honor, questioned his intentions, and as a result, angered the beast within him. Losing the social and moral high ground, Berchtold decided to save face, but he did leave with a threat. That Grayson may hold the book for now, but he will be back, and he will be bringing the strongest members of the Chantry with him. For this is not information that as he phrases it, a simple neonate is experienced enough to possess. We fade back into our story now. As Crescent, bringing Enzo behind you, you walk in onto a situation that seems to have just cut short as three sets of eyes suddenly look to you, faces hard. Berchtold slowly retracts his fingers off Acer's throat, obviously displeased as he looks to you, looks to the rest of the group, and slowly turns to Grayson. This is not over. As he turns and leaves to the second passage, moving past you, Crescent, you feel an intense air around him. It almost sends that chill up your spine. You've never seen Berchtold angry before. You've seen him determined, panicked, especially when trying to save Grayson from the car compactor many moons ago. But anger, that's new. But nonetheless, he leaves quietly, his footsteps quickly disappearing down the dark corridor.
I believe last session we had talked after this point. So we've got an important book?
Yes, and if I remember correctly, at that point I was holding Grayson's collar, and I'll just be like, sorry, just kind of fixes it, it's just, I've read about those things, that stuff is in media everywhere. If it's his book, he needs to get rid of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Really? prerogative.
Yes. No, absolutely. But when you do, would you mind putting a stake through my heart first and then cutting off my head?
Yep, there it is. Okay.
Do you understand that if I withheld this book from my chancery again, I would not seek another knight prize?
And do you understand that, no offense to you, but if any one faction has this book, no one but that faction would see another moonrise?
I necessarily know that. And unfortunately, Acer, you know as well as I do, this book, it was already in the hands of the wrong person. Or should, excuse me, wrong spirit.
So then what do you suggest we do? That's not something we could keep secret for long.
I'm not saying we should. I'm saying that at the same time, in a way, Bertrand is still correct. Nothing else, there are warlocks much more experienced in sealing, in protecting, and hiding away this book.
And will your faction do that?
Well,
or will they take advantage and learn from it?
Well, if Bertrand is getting to Subal, the highest, he ultimately has the last say, no matter what Bertrand wants. The book will go to the Chantry, and it will be under their custody to protect it, and if they deem it necessary, seal it away. I don't know.
Okay. Fine. I understand. I've done shit before that put a target on everyone's back. Again, that's not something you can avoid. At the very least, we need to think of a way that if we don't want to get rid of it, which, and I turn to Crescent, you're in this discussion too. And now you too, as I point to Enzo.
At this point, as you look to Enzo, you will notice that very quietly, Enzo has been moving himself as far to the corner of Grayson's office as way from possible. And Grayson, you will get the vibe that he's been watching you very carefully. And appears Enzo has not forgotten your last interaction with him. He does look a little better, but he's still heavily injured and a little shaken.
So yeah.
I still do give him a glance. I make it obvious I'm making a note of where he is in my room.
Look, I'm involved already in let's just say I'm up shit creek without a paddle at this point. And
I tend to be fixing that, hopefully, tonight.
Curious how that's going to go.
You and me both.
5 seconds of being, as he lifts one hand to rest, one hand up, see a small nub on one of his shoulders kind of lift under his jacket. Rescued, as I've been rescued, per se. 5 seconds into this, and I've walked into Haven with a cursed book, enemy of the Tremere, my sire's trying to eat me, Crescent's very determined about killing all of you to save my life. This sounds great.
Welcome to the club. Case in point, if everyone is agreeant into not getting rid of the book, which that's still my vote, we have to find a way to at least either limit access to it or make sure that you, as I point to Grayson, have full access to it. How are we going to do that? Any ideas?
Honestly, I think your lab would be the safest. I think we could make some type of a containment. If nothing else, nobody knows that it's fireproof. If you at least make them assume that if they were to try anything, that we would completely destroy it, may be enough to dissuade.
Slight issue with that. As much as I love that plan, I have two problems. One, the safest thing in my room is literally just a metal safe I keep in my closet.
Is that the thing that was half blown off the wall?
That was the first one. I bought another.
Okay.
Yeah, and that. Oh, by the way, that was done by a battery, so clearly that's safe. not the strongest in the world. Or I'm just really good. Never mind. Back on track. Problem number 2. Your sire realized what that thing was before I did. I had a Google search what he said out loud. Which means if he knows more about the book than we do, there's a good chance he knows that that thing is indestructible.
He said he wanted to bring Tesubal here to take it, correct?
That is what I heard, although I do not know who that is.
What if, I wonder if I could maybe ask Tesubal himself before Bertrand has a chance.
I think you'd have to do it pretty quick. Like now.
Yes. No, yes. Grayson, you're right.
I could get out ahead of him.
That's it.
But
That's how we do it.
Again, but I would be undermining my sire.
You would be undermining your sire, but let's face it, from what I saw, he was trying to undermine you.
Grayson, do me a favor and go ahead and make an intelligence plus... I'm sorry, more of a wits plus awareness, and go ahead and add your Haven score. So +3.
Yes. So +3, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so it's awareness, okay, and then 3. That's 5 successes.
5 successes, more than enough. There are 2 problems with that idea. Well, socially, kindred-wise, very good thinking. It's a problem that immediately comes to your head. You know where Bertrand's Haven is. He's always invited you to stay, even though you made it very adamant to stay within the SSC. You know Bertrand's Haven is in the Chantry. The moment he gets home, if he is not immediately going to sleep, there's probably a high likelihood, knowing Bertrand's personality, he is going to go straight to Tesubal immediately. You also know how long it takes to move through these corridors. Bertrand has just left. There's a very small window of opportunity, per se, if you wanted to delay him. But you'd have to make a decision pretty quickly. Depends on how far you're willing to go, but that's just information that you have at your disposal.
So I feel like I've just walked in on a landmine, and I was just coming to tell you, Acer, something.
Me? What are you going to tell me?
We might have another problem.
Besides the book and your sire potentially wanting to eat you both?
To be fair, she wants to eat me first. Just saying.
Alright, are we really going to argue about who's going first now?
Okay. Shoot. Give me the cherry on this shit.
I really wish I wasn't the one to do it. Have you visited your sister at all?
No, as far as I know, she's still in the hospital.
You might want to. Because apparently Thomas has been seen going in and out of the church. And Eleanor is taking an interest in not only him, but his girlfriend. So, I have reason to believe that my brother and your sister might be in a little bit of trouble. Don't freak out.
And you're positive you still want to try and save her?
I don't know. Honestly.
Okay. That's fine. I'm not freaking out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Just I'll just have to edit my plans slightly.
And then when was the
That's
last
not
time
too
that
late.
you saw them?
About a month ago, before I decided to book it. Which I just kind of have to point out here. We're dancing around two problems, and
I know.
since as Acer kind of pointed in the middle, it's kind of a chain of operations that I'm kind of sensing here. You all said, and this is again none of my business, but I feel like I'm obligated now to be a part of this conversation. Are we just gonna let that Tremere guy just leave?
I'm gonna look to Grayson.
Do you have something in mind?
He looks over to Crescent, looks back to you. You have two La Sombras standing within your haven. I'm not sure how much of a Thin Buzz is going to do, but let me just say this. You remember what I did to those 3 vampires when we pulled your asses out of a fridge? Restraining and killing is kind of my thing. And Crescent's not too bad with a nasty touch and a bullet either.
I'm not quite sure what you're insinuating, actually.
He puts one hand up. Look, I'm not insinuating anything as you are master of his haven. All I am simply put is that from a tactical standpoint, kind of looks over your clock. We have about 15, maybe 30 seconds before that Tremere slips out and runs screaming back to his little dirt hole to go tell your big, nasty friends about this big, nasty, terrible book. And from a political standpoint, if you want to do that, great. But if you want to make a move, you're going to need to make a decision pretty fucking quickly. And frankly, I'm only kind of saying this just because I like to have as little amount of attention coming down on this place as possible. And consider the fact that I walked around these halls for a good 45 days before someone actually noticed. That seems to be a recurring problem for all of you. Probably 20 seconds now.
I have an idea. Preston, I need you with me.
Okay. Well,
I'm going out.
all right. Really quick, does Enzo have permission to feed as long as he doesn't kill anybody or hurt or raise suspicion?
Right, actually, I'm going to need him at full strength. If you're taking Crescent, I want him.
Just really quick.
I don't want a single report. Somebody is starting to lose consciousness.
He raises a single hand. I'm a sleep nibbler, and at the same time, look, I'm not pushing my luck, okay?
All right, Enzo, stay with Acer and do what you can here. Get your strength up, and I'll head out with Grayson.
My pleasure, darling. And he says that actually with a bit of affection underneath his voice.
She's gonna pause, and then she's gonna keep moving.
Anyways, go feet up, meet me in my lap, I need you. And he's gonna go down to his lap.
All right. Grayson and Crescent, what are you both doing?
I'm following Grayson.
I'm going after Bertrand.
So, are you going to try and cut him off?
Yes.
Or, I'll ask this. What specifically is your plan here? What is your intent?
I am basically going to try and convince him that I will deliver the tome myself to the Chancery.
Okay.
And the reason I'm not asking him to do it is because it was too dangerous, and I would have a hound with me overseeing.
Okay. So, you're not trying to ambush him, you're just trying to get ahead of him.
Exactly. I want to catch him before he leaves.
Okay. I'll say it's easy enough. It does. You both have to rush very quickly, but luckily you guys know your haven like the back of your hands.
Rapid reflexes.
Rapid fast walking.
Rapid fast walking. We both have it. Let's use it.
To get ahead of him, you have to kind of move through quite a few thoroughfares of hallways, skipping some secret entrances here and there, but you do manage to make your way down to the garage where these entrances tend to end up. As you come around one side, the garage door is just starting to open as the silhouette of Bertrand is standing there. Immediately spins around, puts a hand up. You both stay away from me. As the garage door opens behind him, letting in pale, incandescent light.
May I at least offer something in return? At least I feel as though a form of apology. That was not how I intended this night to go, and that was not how I wanted it to go. In any way, shape, or form.
Go ahead and give me a charisma plus etiquette or persuasion. Up to you. I'll let you add a +1, as you two are closer.
3 successes.
3 successes. Berchwold, his shoulders relax just a little bit, but he does keep a very watchful eye on Crescent. You know he's acknowledging you, but suddenly showing up with Crescent, you would get the sense has made him very on guard. Apology accepted. I want to be very clear. I've played this game before, and I'm not insinuating that my own child there wants to suddenly keep me under duress. That would not be our way, would it be, Grayson?
No. No way whatsoever.
So, if we want to keep talking, and I'm saying this because I understand that my own temper, for a moment, got away from me. I'm a little hungry. And it was a unique situation. So I would to apologize for my own outburst. But she, as he points to Crescent, she stays where I see her. She moves at me. I will take that as a threat. I'm just being very honest with you.
Understandable. When I turn to Crescent, please do me the favor, do not make any threatening movements towards my sire. This time.
Indeed.
Thank you.
And if you'll just for my own comfort, he takes a few steps more back, so he's standing behind the threshold, or outside the threshold of the garage. You have to forgive me for my suspicion. Tonight's events makes me a little on bitch. We want to have a conversation, we can do it at this length.
Understandably so.
So, Grayson, at the risk of pushing the envelope further tonight, I'm willing to entertain a little more discussion.
I appreciate that. So I will keep this brief, as you said, and I can agree tonight's events have been very stressful. So allow me to make this one proposition to you.
I'm listening. But I will say you're not really in a position to be bargaining right now.
No. Not a bargain. Merely the time that you allotted me. Under the protection of my coterie mate, so a hound, I will deliver the tome through the Chantry, to you and to Subal specifically, on the date. As I do not wish to put you in any more harm, carrying something as of importance as you've shown me, and I would be willing to at least put myself at risk to deliver this directly to the Chantry. Because my intention is still to show them. I have been negligent for too long.
Are you trying to be withholding any kind of way?
No, I'm basically just seeing if I can change the end, like, as in, they were coming here, I just wanted to see if I can get it to where I can just bring it to them to make myself, basically make it look better for both me and him.
Change the meeting place to make you seem more compliant.
Exactly.
Okay. He tilts his head to you very suspiciously, but he does raise an eyebrow. His eyes finally do break away from Crescent and start looking at you. Curious. My response to that is that you have a very sudden change of attitude, Mr. Holland. You were so adamant about me not leaving now with it. In fact, we just had quite a very, I would say, passionate exchange between scholars over this book. With me coming to the full understanding that you were wanting to keep this information for yourself in the Chantry. Now, why the sudden shift in attitude? Have you changed your mind?
Well, I would be lying if I said I didn't want to further study the book myself in that time, but with current events, that may be difficult. So I would merely change the meeting place, make it look more agreeable as me with teaching of my sire and information, and of course anything I find, in the off chance I find something, will be directly reported in its entirety to the Chantry.
Go ahead and give me a charisma plus persuasion.
I'm really pushing the envelope tonight.
Sometimes drastic moves have to be made. Choices have to be taken.
Hey,
care of.
I'm loving it.
So what you're saying is you're playing your clan.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I did not say that.
He would not be Tremere if he didn't want this book.
Do I get any bonuses for still being technically in my haven?
You know, I consider the fact that the ending of your last conversation with Bertold resulted him in a messy critical, and he is very, very aware that his reputational image as a Tremere has been besmirched in front of his own childer. I will allow you I'll give you a 2 die bonus to this. As this would be this, you are technically, in a way, playing to his interests, to save face.
Yes.
Tremere don't like open conflict if they can help it. Especially Bertold.
Okay, I'll take that. 4 successes.
4 successes. Bertold readjusts his suit. You see the first time he displays a certain level of relaxation that you've come to know from him. He tucks his hands behind his back. He seems to bring some more of that demure nature back. It comes back to the surface. The mask reattaching itself, so to speak. On one condition. Back in your office, you made a very powerful claim. An overreaching of your potential. No, that's the wrong word. An overreaching of your current ability. My childer, you are powerful, respectable, and without the Chantry's backing, you have made a name for yourself. I will concede to that. You've done well, despite convincing me to allow you to leave the nest so early, so to speak. Or if I had it my way, and if I had leaned into DeSuple's demands for more, he points to everything, all of this would not have happened. This building would not be standing in. These employees, your ghouls, you would not have them. You would be living within the Chantry under my eye for probably the next couple decades. So I will concede that you have risen to a very strong occasion, but I demand a formal apology from you for your disrespect, for your overreaching of your abilities. You have seen trials, yes, but you have to concede. You are young. You are a child in comparison. And you need to apologize to me here for stepping out of your place.
Return to Crescent. Miss Hound, would you please bear witness to this exchange between Sire and Father?
By all means.
As I take a step forward and I place one hand behind me and one in front of me on my chest, I bow my head down to Bertold. My sire, I cannot thank you enough for the wisdom and the patience you have shown me, now and in the past. My transgression, I am deeply sorry. I don't raise my head yet.
How does that make you feel, having to submit?
There is a mixed emotion of almost like, it's like when a parent is very disappointed in you and you realize you were wrong. But there's, of course, that the dictator is definitely turning in his chair.
Give me a composure plus resolve.
Well, well, that was a weird one. Okay. 3 successes?
3 successes. You have a strong pride, Mr. Holland. You're not some fledgling like moons past, cowering in the presence of the prince, fearing authority. Would I be so remiss to say in your mind you have really made a name for yourself, striking your territory? Would I say that your pride is irritated?
Egos, we mend, wounds heal. This is a small readjustment.
Bowing to submission is not your style. You only take 1 point of willpower damage, conceding defeat to your sire for this embarrassment. But that roll is high enough, as he seems satisfied. Well, raise your head. No tribute should keep their head bowed for too long. Fine. I forgive you. In exchange, we'll put this night behind us. Chalk it up to passionate exchange between master and student. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes. I mean, such text is very elevating, let's say.
It can bring about a certain level of excitement. But we must be composed. Fair. Fine. I will have to inform Tsugo regardless about the events that happened tonight, but I will admit our more passionate exchange. I will simply report that you have found something very interesting and you wish to bring it to the Chantry, as is your duty. I will allow you 1 night to make proper preparations. So you don't have to bring it tomorrow, but the next night. This tome better be within the Chantry. If it is not there by the next moonrise, we will be coming here to claim it. Is that understood?
Crystal.
Wonderful. I'm glad that we can see eye to eye to this finally. I hate to have ill will between my childers. Regardless, thank you. Crescent, he nods to you. Good night.
Good night, Richard.
With that, he slowly turns, keeping an eye, before he leaves towards the back of the building to leave discreetly.
Close the garage.
And within a few moments, you are both plunged into darkness and out of open eyes.
My truck's still there?
Yes, it's still wrecked pretty severely. The door has since the last time you took a look at it, has been ripped off. It's been like that for a while, possibly.
Anything I can rip off of it? Mirror?
Oh, absolutely. You can tear apart this thing as much as you want. You have a fairly high strength score.
Oh, I would just like to rip something off and just basically just crush them to dust in my hands. No exaggerated movements, just...
Crescent, you watch as Grayson just casually, very calmly, walks over to his truck, takes a look at it for a moment, before he reaches over and just leans down, grabs the hubcap off the side of the tire, toss it across the room. A hubcap quickly turns into just a jagged metal ball. It's like tink, 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 tink. Rolls out to the other side of the room. adding to the slight junk pile that's been kind of stashed away from this car.
Nice. How are you feeling?
I bought myself time. All I need. And while bruised slightly, I did get something. I have time, and I still have a functioning relationship, and maybe even a growing position in the chantry. That's exactly what I wanted.
I thought you wanted nothing to do with the chantry last time I talked to you. Something change?
Some things need to change. Been going about this all wrong. Of course, you are still my coterie. That will never change. But I think it's time I need to learn what my board looks like.
Sounds like a plan. Well, that's settled, so I guess it's on to the next problem for now. Are you gonna just study the book the next few days?
If you need me, at least you will know where to find me. I will be getting as much as I can out of it. I need to take advantage of the time. That doesn't mean that I'm not available. Not that I don't want to know every single detail. What transpires.
Well, since Acer's about to do his suicide mission, probably it would be a good idea to keep you in contact.
By the way, if you wouldn't mind accompanying me that night to give the book over, that would at least save me some face.
When you return the book?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still alive at that point. Alive.
I would. Well, yes, I'm hoping for that, but he's doing okay. We need to find him before he runs off and disappears and plays the hero thing. I swear, he needs to stop watching those shows.
That's the thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you about. Just
Why?
really quick.
Yeah.
It's not that I have an idea. It's just that the whole thing with Duncan kind of taught me some things that I really need you guys, but at the same time, this is my problem. And I don't feel right dragging you guys into my problem. And yes, Acer is clearly going out on a suicide mission. That being said, though, I don't think he's going to take no for an answer, and if that's the case, I was thinking that maybe you and I could go without him knowing that we're there as backup. Because I don't have full confidence that it's going to go smooth. And if something happens to him because of something that's my problem, he shouldn't be dealing with this at all. But I don't, especially with his sister involved now, I don't think he's going to take no for an answer. So I thought maybe if he didn't know we were there, I know we said no secrets, but if he's going to keep playing martyr, and you don't have to go. I'm still going to go either way. Luckily, I think he's not planning on doing it tonight. I think it's a tomorrow thing, but whatever you want to do. You're not obligated to anything. I just thought you should know, at least. Because we're doing the whole no secrets thing, which there's another thing with that.
What else is there?
Did you recognize any of those undead? Like really undead? In the sewers?
No, I mean literally there was too many that I recognized.
I think that's my fault. Because when the blood bond was still happening, I mean it's still happening, but when it was prevalent, she had asked me to send people being discharged from your facility over to the church. I thought it was just her increasing her herd. I didn't know she was doing that.
Grayson, how does that make you feel as that comes out?
Guess you're really testing my mental fortitude tonight.
Sorry. You said no more secrets. I'm just...
Well, okay.
I'll say Crescent is
has...
indeed trying, but the thing about you is loyalty has become a very big prevalent factor for you. If it was attached to Immortal, I would argue even starts to become a conviction. How does that make you feel as that information hits you? What's your initial shock reaction? At least internally.
In all honesty, since he recognized them in the sewers, as Crescent tells him this and he's able to connect the dots, it more turns him very... a disappointment starts to show on his face. Not necessarily towards her, but some of it is. But let's say, if nothing else, he's very conflicted. Because he knows about the bond and how he's seen firsthand how much it warped her. Those were still his people.
Give me let's go ahead and give this a composure plus sight.
Right. There goes another hubcap.
Just take another hubcap off the car.
No, that doors is... I'm going to make that into a hanger in about 2 seconds.
Oh, dear.
Hey, 4 successes.
4 successes.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank God.
4 successes, okay.
So, I'll see if in this case, though, you start to feel that paranoia start to sit in. You feel, almost for a moment, very alone. Suddenly you feel like all eyes are on you. Suddenly you feel like for a moment that, is there no one that you can trust? Is there no one that has your back? Is everyone out in the world trying to destroy you? Your sire, Acer, constantly resisting your ambitions with learning knowledge. Crescent, who is supposed to be your right hand, siphoning away your food source for her sire. But as that paranoia starts to set in, Crescent, you watch as Grayson does just a finger. And you walk Grayson over back to the other end of your truck to the taillight. And just very quickly and swiftly pop out that and shatter that back taillight. A momentary venting as you clutch down on remembering that Crescent isn't always 100% in control of herself and not of her own free will at times. It angers you. Upsets you. You feel hurt that she kept this from you and wasn't honest as she could have been. Repeatedly, for many times, as the longevity of how long she's been doing this does grate you internally. But you cope with it. Small outburst. You know Crescent is loyal to you. As you resist a small compulsion.
You said no more secrets, and honestly...
You didn't have full control of yourself.
I know, but I could have told you sooner.
You could have, and it may have been at the exact wrong time.
I just thought you should have, but there's nothing else. It's everything.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're good?
Maybe we don't talk about it for a while.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, back to the problems at hand, then.
Yes, we need to find Acer. We need to discuss further. This,
God forbid Acer and Enzo in the same room alone together. It's going to be weird.
I don't like him in here. I'm just telling you now.
Why?
I don't trust him.
I do. Right. Okay.
Let's talk to Acer.
Very tense stretches seem to be arising as we fade away over to Acer in the lab. While this is going on, what are you up to?
So Acer's going to be doing two things. First thing he's going to be doing, he's going to sit down. He's going to grab some paper and a pen. He's going to be writing a set of instructions, notes on what to do, what to say, and each step you need to take in order for whatever he has planned to go perfectly. Only while Enzo is out trying to feed. When he gets back, he'll put that away and he's going to try and work on the phone project.
You hear a small notification from your computer.
Alright, let's see what's up.
Take a look. It looks like a note document has been opened up onto your computer. A small message written across from it. Your sister looks like she'll be discharged next week. Looking well. Seems to have made a full recovery. Thought you might appreciate me keeping eyes on her. H.
He's just gonna reach down, grab the router, just kind of snap it in half. Alright, back to work.
And the internet dies. For now. I'm going to have to start charging you resources for getting all these damn routers.
Poor Rudy in the background's like, what the fuck, man?
You had a setback the last time you worked on this project, so I'll say for this, go ahead and give me a wits. Give me a wits plus technology in this case. Trying to see if you can outthink the problem. And it is considered hardware, so you have a specialty.
Yes, alright. Glad I took that. I am now ace hacker.
As this is not really perfecting the crafting, this is more trying to work around the last problem you ran into.
3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Overall, I'll consider this a success. You'll have to test this theory, but you wonder if it's very hard to translate kindred nature down to a scientific level. Even the Tremere, as scientific as they are, still lean on this concept of everything is magic. Everything is sourceless. It comes from the blood. But wait a minute. If it comes from the blood, that must mean it has some kind of property. Maybe start chewing on this theory that maybe the Sombra, there's a property to their vitae that emits some kind of interference. There are metals that can cause interference. There are certain combinations of chemicals, certain situations, even certain doses of electromagnetic fields that can cause interference. It seems to affect signals, video, audio, generalized interference. So maybe, just maybe, you could insulate a receiver. It would horribly dampen the range. But you might be able to, after kind of drawing the plans out and spending what hours you have left for this night, building this theory and drafting this concept, it's not tested. But potentially you might be able to circumvent Crescent's Bane, at least partially, by essentially insulating any type of signal-based parts on a cellular device. It would make it so probably calling it or communicating long range probably isn't going to work. But it might work for short range. Maybe the range of a walkie-talkie.
Interesting. Okay.
At the very least, it might allow her to send maybe a written message.
Okay. Slightly harder for my plan, but I can work with that.
Well, this is the first time you've tried to attempt something, and based on what you've been told, the Sombra don't even bother trying to circumvent this. The easy solution for any of the Sombra, based on what you see the way Eleanor has, get someone else to do it. Why do they need to bother with a cell phone when they can just hire a secretary to make a phone call for them?
That's true. That's true.
It seems to bother other Sombra a little bit less, as Enzo did seem to have a cell phone on him.
So he's definitely going to be drawing up those plans, and he's going to be waiting for Enzo to get back, because I do need to talk with him.
I'll definitely say it takes you a few hours at this point. Grayson and Crescent, where are you guys heading next? Just so I keep framing the time frame for the rest of the evening.
I would say we're trying to catch up with Easter.
Okay. Then I'll say before Enzo's managed to return, as Ace, you're kind of in the middle of this project and sitting yourself down, shortly after you destroy your fifth router, the entrance to the back end of your lab opens up as Grayson and Crescent walk in, and you have enough dots and wits. There is palpable tension in the air the moment they walk in. It's almost as if you know something weird just happened, but you weren't there to experience it. And it's this residual funk that seems to come with them as they both enter the room and immediately start heading to opposite sides of the room.
So what happened?
Well, I don't have as much time. However, the good news is I can at least deliver the book myself and still keep a healthy relationship with my sire and maybe even start a better relationship with my chantry. So, yes.
That's good. Whatever keeps you access to the book in case, we need to do a little espionage.
I have maybe a night and a half, maybe that to get as much out of the book as I can.
Okay. Speaking of a night and a half, I did mention tomorrow that I would be going to talk with Eleanor, and he's going to pull out the paper. He's going to fold it, put it in a little envelope, and actually, seal it. And he's going to hand it over to Grayson and be like, "Do not open this. This is only to be opened if I don't come back tomorrow night." Got it?
And you really expect us to just let you walk in there by yourself?
If things go my way, I will walk out just fine.
That's a really slim if that you're relying on.
I had a lot of slim ifs before that I came out net positive.
And eventually it's gonna run out.
Eventually, but tomorrow night will not be the night.
You realize you're dealing with my sire.
Yes.
I should be going with you.
You can't, Crescent. Not with your blood bond still active. That would
it's
literally
almost
put
gone.
me in more danger. Almost doesn't make her not be able to control you through that. Once it's gone, then
after you're dead.
There's no guarantee I'm gonna die. Who knows? Maybe my plan will work, she will be civil, and we will both walk away the better for it.
Even if she wants to be civil, the chance of her frenzying just because a thin blood is trying to talk to her that way?
I will use every trick in the book to follow your advice and be as courteous as humanly possible.
Kindredly possible.
Anyways.
I hate you for that.
Yeah. Point is, if things don't go well, and he'll hand the letter to Grayson, then you can open it and read it. Till then, you don't need to know. Okay?
Okay. We just... What?
I need you to stay away, but after going through some calculations and some math, maybe not as away as I want you to be.
Okay.
I've been working on your phone, and part of my plan...
You're still working on that thing?
Yes, because part of my plan dictates that I need to have your phone ready for tomorrow night. So look, I've been working on it. I think I narrowed down a few things. And possibly, if this works, phone calls might be a little iffy because you need to be rather close, but you might still be able to text. So if this does work, then I still need you to stay away, but I need you to be closer than, here. Just close enough for me to call. I am not a fighter. I'm the coward that hides in the corner. But for this to work, I need to be up front. I can't have anyone with me. If I take anyone with me, it will look like a threat or an invasion, which is the opposite of what I'm trying to do. Going in alone shows her that I'm there for negotiation and I mean her no harm. If you guys are there, it becomes something different. On the off chance she decides to get the brilliant idea to say, go after Enzo, because let's face it, she's smart enough to know that we have him now. All of us being there means no one's here to protect Enzo or our haven. And if she's as powerful as you say, ghouls are not going to cut it.
She is 100% powerful, as Enzo is literally standing maybe a foot away from you, and none of you had noticed him entering the room.
Okay. How long were you there?
You can see he wipes a tiny bit of blood off one corner of his lip. Long enough.
So then, you know the basic plan, you know that you're going to stay here with them, and you're going to be protected, yes?
One thing I want to bring up about that.
By all means, I could use all the information I could get.
I don't feel comfortable allowing you all to do this, but Crescent has already made it very clear, at least in this situation, I don't have a choice. Despite my best attempts to try and keep her out of the inner turmoil that I'm currently dealing with, much to the old-fashioned Haley prerogative, as he gestured over Grayson, you probably would know all about that, she cannot get involved. She's always been like that, even in life.
That's my problem. Of course I'm going to get involved.
Yes, but you do realize you are the same individual that would physically try to assault me as a human if I didn't stop onto the side of the road to make sure that a ran-over cat was still breathing. You get my point.
Get what that has to do. That was
it means you're stubborn.
2 decades ago.
You're stubborn. You ignore all logic. You're stubborn, and you're going to do what you want to do, and that's how you've always been, even in life. And now in death, it's even tenfold. Now you have some of the gusto to back it up. She's already made a decision that she's going to help me, so I don't really have much of a choice at this second. One thing she did ask me, though, is after. He looks over to Crescent. I do want to stay. My reasons for staying are my own. I would respectfully ask you don't press. I've had enough people poking in my private emotions and thoughts and history. But for better or for worse, I would like to stay. On the slim chance that I don't wake up tomorrow as a pile of ash. I don't have anywhere to go, though.
Enzo, I'm going to be completely honest with you. 100%. It is not a surprise that when I first met you, I did not like you.
That's okay. I didn't really like either of you either.
Good. We're on the same page. However, my pages turn quickly, so keep up. In the beginning, I did all this because she asked me to. And only because she asked me to. Even if I really did want to see you turn to ash. However, without Crescent, I don't know anymore. I feel like there's something in you that I should see. And I want to give myself that chance to see it. So, just in the name of our leader, everyone deserves a second chance. I want to see who you really are. And if you really care for her.
I mean no disrespect, but I will have to point out your word, despite your apparent new title, means about fuck all. As he slowly looks over to Grayson. It's his place. So, Grayson. Look, I will pretty much lean on the understanding that I'm not going to be able to appeal to any type of emotional standing with you. Am I correct to assume that?
I'm sorry, I'm fresh out. But might as well keep going.
That's to be understood. Look, you don't necessarily like me, and I, in a lot of ways, can't blame you for that. I will have to remind you that, much to own Crescent's situation, I have experienced similar issues. Free will is a very difficult thing, especially with desires as preemptive as ours. However, if you tell me to leave, I will go. And I'm sorry, Crescent, but there's no amount of tugging on my heartstring that's going to be able to let me stay if he says I have to go. I would like to stay. Not in the sense that I'm comfortable here. Not in the sense that I like either of you. But from one kindred to another, I am desperate. I was willing to twist my own spine in half to shove myself into a concrete box to not die. And you all kind of ruined that plan. But since you all decided to get yourselves involved, truth is, I have nowhere to go. During this whole fiasco, and whatever end it reaches, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room here. Even if you all find a way to buy time with Eleonora, I'm going to be completely honest, it is bought time. You want to go there and play diplomacy with her. What are you? 20? 21?
Barely.
And what about your kindred age? How old are you really?
Do we really need to discuss numbers right now?
That answers that question. Do you know how old Eleonora is?
Alright. I get it. I'm up shit creek without paddle.
No, it's worse. There is no creek to begin with, and she's selling you the boat. Eleonora has been playing this game for a long time. Remember, she's not Cam. As much as she tries to put on the mask, as much as she sold us as La Sombra, as Cam, the only Cam La Sombra really in this city right now is Crescent. Because she wasn't made like the Sabbat were. You don't understand the kind of ruthlessness that goes on out there. Whether it be up close and personal, or within the court. Diplomacy is very different here. Acer, you have to understand that no matter what she says, even if she makes a deal with you, she's not going to honor it. And in fact, whatever deal you make with her, she's going to find a way to twist it around to not only make you watch as she drinks me dry, but you're going to hand me over to her. And then once she's done with me, she's going to take your head. And then as a sheriff, she's going to take Grayson's head because she's going to somehow frame him for treason. And then she's going to convince Crescent that you both deserved it. That's what she does. And even putting that aside, I have nowhere to go. I can't just leave the city. It's too dangerous. I'm a La Sombra. I'm only really allowed to be here. If I go to any other city, I'm a dead man. At least, eventually. So Grayson, I have to ask, if you, our guys are taking this on so foolishly, the only place that I could feasibly stay safe is here. And I'm expecting you're going to want tit for tat. So here's my offer. You let me stay. You let me feed. You give me a place so that way I can not be living like a homeless person and eating rats. I'm willing to offer you a conditional boon. The boon that I'm offering, I'm willing to watch this place. I'm willing to keep an eye on it. If someone tries to come in, I'll take care of it. I don't mind being the muscle. That's what I was doing for Eleonora. That's what I'm good at. And I'm willing to bargain any information that I have on her as well. I don't hold any loyalty to that woman. That part is free. Can you put your differences with me aside for that?
You know, Grayson, I have a bigger chance of coming back alive if I have hell information on her. Plus, having someone in the shadows around this place 24/7 as a guard dog.
Thanks.
No offense. It would keep the people safe.
Plus, I have to point out, your haven having 2 of the 5 La Sombra that exist within the city, you can't really put a price on that.
Wait, 5?
There are 5 in total, at least that we know about. I know about.
Who's the other one?
Well, there's Eleonora, there's me, there's you, there's also Sierra, and there's Tally. Of course you wouldn't know much about Tally. He doesn't want you to know, but he's still here. He's still skulking around.
Is that something we need to worry about?
Is that something that you want to make your problem?
God, no, not right now.
Then don't worry about it.
Not ever.
Tally's one of those individuals that he currently, as far as I can tell, he's skulking around because it's fun. I suspect he has reasons why to be here. He's got things that he wants to do. However, thanks to, you 3 making the Sombra such a big deal, I am assuming he's also inviting any type of dissenters to try and claim his head as a price. It's a pretty big price tag to join the Camarilla, and he's always been a pretty big target. Gives a lot of people, even the Sabbat, reason to want to take him down. You don't become a man like that without making a few enemies, big ones. And there's more than one big shot within the Sabbat that's willing to jump ship. It's not really a nice place. We don't really get huggy feelings, so to speak, like it is over here. Point is, I can help. I can give information. I know that church like the back of my hand, and I know this place like the back of my hand. I spent enough time in it without you knowing. And if I can walk around here for 45 days practically unnoticed, at least if you did notice, you didn't try to confront me, imagine where else I could skulk around if need be.
Why did you do that exactly?
She told me to. Before I answer any further questions, love, points back over to Grayson. I need his agreement. Protection, espionage, and information. That's what I can offer you. You seem like a man of business, so that's what I'm willing to offer in exchange for food and shelter. So what do you say, Mr. Holland? It's about probably one of the most honest offers that I think you've ever got.
I know, and it absolutely fucking sickens me to admit that. However, you are correct. And I think I would be remiss not to at least give it the honest answer that I can. In exchange for food and shelter and protection that we can offer.
He walks up to you. Do I have your word on that?
Do I have your word that you will do everything to protect us and to give me the information we need to survive? I hold out my hand.
Looks down at it. It's back at you. This is very fitting to say, but I guess in pain of death. And he shakes her hand.
Welcome to the second chance.
Great. Guess we'll start with Crescent's question. Ladies first, right? Why? Why did Eleanor want me to scope this place out? It's simple. Eleanor had nothing. We had nothing. No herd. Hardly a place to stay. That church was not really defended. Not really safe either. A lot of enemies, and on the very thin veil of protection that the Baron, now Prince, offered us. Dragos has been working to get the La Sombra into Seattle for a long time. It furthers whatever he's got going on in the city, and it's worked. We're here, and we quickly became a strong arm. Eleanor is now sheriff. Why do you think that happened so quickly? Any idiot prince that can see the La Sombra coming in for the city knows that we are an asset. Anyone that's been on the broad side of the Sabbat War, Gehenna War itself, sees what we can do. We're kind of unique. The oldest of us, in some ways, physically invincible. At least for a little bit. Eleonora needed roots. She needed things to help lock her in to make it so that she and us can survive in long term. She was curious, since you were the closest things to neighboring rank that she would like to call, of how effective you all were defending this place. What did you have? Is there anything we could use? And I found that. You had people. You had food. And Eleonora, she's not very keen about hunting. Especially pushing her luck, us pushing our luck within the city. But further than that, she needed bodies. See, Eleanor is not like a lot of the Sombra. She doesn't, I don't know why, but she doesn't have the same expected talents. Some of them, yes. Not all of them. She can do things that I haven't seen other La Sombra even be interested in. And I'm sure you can see what I mean. She likes the dead. She prefers it. A master puppeteer, so to speak. My job was simple. Get an estimate on how big your herd was. Get information on individuals that nobody would miss. And make sure Crescent was doing her job. And she was. A pamphlet here. A business card in a breast pocket from some of your more emotionally collapsed patients. I'm sure you noticed for a while there's quite a few people checking out and becoming a little bit more suddenly interested in religion. Faith, so to speak. That's what I was doing. See, Eleonora, she needed bodies. One, she needed people that she could feed on. So she needed to build a congregation. She's done that. After that, she needed to take root. She needed to build a bunker. That church is a fortress now. Those people that you all saw when you came over that day to see her, to essentially allow Crescent to feed on Eleonora. People cleaning statues, mopping the floors, tending to the candles. Why do you think the place smells as good as it does? Why do you think she's so obsessed about keeping it clean? Those attendants weren't alive. They were dead. They're undead. Those ones are not very smart. Go sweep this mess. Go clean a statue. Go make sure the candles are still burning. They only can do simple tasks. They're not intelligent, but I judge you guys who went through that sewer. That is one of her main weapons. She has secret tunnels all in that church that could open at any time and flood the place. And they would rip anything apart except her. Not to mention that thanks to Crescent being so loyal, she's got quite a few personal collections of artifacts. Well, not really artifacts, personal objects that allow her to play with ghosts. Look, I don't know much how it works. I really don't. I don't dabble in it. I don't understand it. I don't even know how she knows it. I've yet to find anyone else in the city that seems to know anything about it, and trust me, I've tried. All I know, she had a very particular thing about collecting mementos off jobs that Crescent did. Mainly, specifically, I know in the basement, in a box that she keeps tucked away, I have seen, she keeps bullet casings in a ring of salt. Specifically, bullet casings from Crescent's gun. How it's relevant, I don't know. But she keeps it in a mausoleum door lined with stone, and within there is a box in a ring of salt.
Does that strike anything with Grayson?
Give me an intelligence plus occult.
That seems very specific.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of thinking the same thing right now. I'm just kind of like, is that the anchor? Because you killed them with your gun, right?
Oh man, maybe these ways the dice are
so
green.
if they're able to latch onto something, it would be the leftover casings. That might be their anchor.
What's your roll, Grayson?
4 successes.
4 successes. You brought this up briefly with Berchtold a while back. And you're starting to expand your general knowledge of the occult. Ghost's not something you dabble with. Most Tremere, not really interested in it. However, ghosts, they do exist. You've seen them plenty of times in graveyards. You've seen them plenty of times, sometimes occasionally walking around the street with Sense the Unseen. Ghosts don't typically want to stick around on the material plane unless they have a very good reason. And if they don't have a good reason, they need something to hold them here. And there's a very specific word that Berchtold did use a while back. You all never really elaborated or pushed on it at the time of the pressing matters. But an object called a fetter. A physical object that a specter, and in Eleanor's case, a wraith, needs to hold on to stay here. It is directly tied to them. As long as that object exists, they can stay here freely. It seems the difference, though, the way Enzo describes it, it might be possible to think that maybe Arya has a fetter, but she's able to move freely. She has her own free will. Obviously, she has a vendetta against Crescent, and it makes you a little concerned that she hasn't seen her in a little while. But in Eleanor's case, these wraiths, they were beholden to her. Maybe keeping it contained in a ring of salt, which traditionally is used as a ward, as a binding, as a repellent. Maybe that's part of the way she keeps them under her thumb. I've been on the front lines with Eleanor. There was a while, probably a good 40, 50 years back in the early 19s, that we were on the front lines of the Gehenna War out east. New York was a battleground. Eleanor wasn't like me. I like using the shadows to rip people apart. Kindred, mainly. Crescent, she has her guns, and her Oblivion's touch. Most Lasamra, if we have to resort to violence, we're pretty up close and personal. Get in, strike, and leave, and no one knows what happened. Eleonora, that's not her way. She commands. She sits on a mountaintop and orders. That's how she fights. If she can't win by diplomacy, she will overwhelm you in numbers. And she will do everything she can to bring you down before you're even able to react.
And you said she has secret tunnels in the church?
Chambers, tunnels, you name it, she's got it.
I'm going to look straight at Acer.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Good. Then I don't need to say it.
Question. Mm-hmm. We're talking a lot about her strengths. Don't get me wrong, love the information. What about weaknesses?
If I really knew that, do you think I would have left and put myself into a sewer?
I mean, feeding habits, anything. You've been with her for quite a long time.
She doesn't like hunting people. When it comes to her feeding habits, she likes to feed off her congregation, especially the most faithful, the most reverent to her. Kind of looks over to Grayson and smiles a little bit. I think Mr. Holland can kind of relate to that idea. No offense. I noticed a few times you feeding and how you like to schmooze over the more malleable.
I'm not going to sit here and act like we aren't all monsters.
Oh, we all are, in one way or another. When it comes to weaknesses, though, if I had to put it critically, I can't say for certain, but I've never seen anyone able to get close enough to try it, but she never fights close. I've never seen her actually lift a hand to hit someone. I've never seen her actually try to hurt someone with her own hand, physically. She's always had an army between her and her target. Even if there's only an inch of space, she fills that gap. And that's the physical side. Politically, she always positions herself in a space of authority where if she has to make drastic decisions, she can always cover her own ass, which she's already done. She's a sheriff now. Really hard to pin a sheriff based on what I understand by the Camarilla if there's only one person telling the story.
Okay. Well, this is good. This is good. I need all of this for tomorrow.
You're still going.
Of course he is. He's an idiot.
Look,
We established this.
what he's saying, okay, just makes it so we need to go. I need to go. Specifically because, as he said, we're on borrowed time. She can explode at any time. But I'd rather have, I don't know, a day to defuse a bomb rather than 30 seconds. That's just my opinion.
There's no getting out of this.
Look, love, the only way you guys are going to 100% get out of this is one of two options the way I see it. And I'm not trying to be defeatist about this. Option one, you hand me over. I know we've just made an agreement, Mr. Holland, but this is just the fact that I'm just going to put out there because everyone's thinking it and no one has actually even said it.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not saying you were. I'm just saying that's option one. You hand me over, all your problems with her goes away. She doesn't get involved in things that don't have her interest, and she has other things that she wants to do. You guys have never been even a blip on her radar beyond the fact that you hold on to something that she cares about a lot, which has made her very inclined to keep a lot of the inconveniences away, so to speak. Option two. This is really dumb. Kill her.
I don't even know how we would.
Oh, there's several ways to kill. That's what you were concerned about.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
How to do it is not the issue. It's if we even want to in the first place.
Wait, Grayson, can you just for a sane of mind, can you just make sure there's no prying eyes or eavesdroppers?
Can't see everything, but I suppose.
Enzo's eyes blackened over as well as he kind of looks around.
I activate Sense the Unseen.
We shouldn't be talking about this openly without at least checking.
You look around, Grayson.
Hmm.
There's no feelings, no shadows, no ghosts. Seems you're all safe for now. It even validates your eyes. I think we're fine for now.
Okay, then continue.
Grayson Mr. Holland made a pretty good show of convincing those wraiths that I was a bag of coffee grounds in a sack, so to speak.
She's not going to believe that for long.
Oh, absolutely not. She'll probably have already figured it out. She just doesn't have enough time tonight to do anything about it.
Hence my point. Whatever we're going to do, it has to be tomorrow.
Maybe there's something in the book?
There's several things in the book. My point is why I can't help you.
That's the only one-up that we have. I don't know how I feel about it.
Look, you all are going to do what you're going to do. The way I see it, it boils down to one of two outcomes. I die or she does. Eleanor is not one, and if you want a weakness, is the closest thing I know about her. Eleanor doesn't give up things that she believes that are hers. The fact that you all have Crescent means that she has a reason why Crescent is here. But if you paid attention, she immediately made Crescent a hound.
Yeah, to keep her at arm's length.
Always. That way she has the Camarilla's backing. If she suddenly gives Crescent an order, Crescent has to follow it. Unless she wants to risk her own political downfall. And I don't think Dragos is really the negotiating kind with breaking etiquette.
But that right there doesn't make the most sense. Why would she put Crescent in a position of power that's so well seen, visibly, and still have the plan to kill her one day?
Because it's the
doesn't
same.
make any sense.
It's the same reason why I chose a hole in the ground before meeting you guys. If you're in your element, no one's going to look twice.
She has.
And Eleonora is clearly in hers.
She has what she does. She has authority. Eleanor doesn't fight with her fists. She fights in the court. She has an army between her and her enemies. They do the fighting for her if need be, but her element is diplomacy and position. Let me phrase it this way. Eleonora, in the time I've been with her, has a rotating habit of killing her childer. The Sabbat, they don't necessarily like it, but they don't really have the same kind of restrictions here. Diablerie, murder, killing another who is not loyal. Most Sabbat are not necessarily going to say much about it, especially if you're your own childer, and especially if you're the one to say they were siding with the Camarilla. They were traitors. I handled it. It's expected of you. Here, a little more strict, but Eleanor's clever. So let's paint a hypothetical situation. So I already painted to all of you and the court. I'm a traitor. Why do you think I had to be practically on my knees asking for Mr. Holland's blessing if I could stay in this little rehab center? I go anywhere else, I'm a dead man. I'm already a traitor. So, she kills me. If you parse the prince, I handled my problem. Good job, Eleonora. You're so loyal. Go down the road. She's consumed me. She's weakened herself. The calling is gone. But now Eleonora's no longer comfortable because she's not up in tip-top shape. So that temptation kicks in. Finally, she caves in and she kills Crescent. Why did you kill your hound? Why is she dead? Because she'd be the first one the next night to report to the prince what happened. You know, I really misjudged her. Prince Dragos. She had plans with Grayson and Acer to dethrone you. So as your sheriff, I killed her. I brought her to Ash. They've lost their bite. And tonight, I plan on going tonight with the rest of the hounds and burning that haven to the ground with them in it. That solves all your problem, doesn't it? Taking care of the dissenters. You no longer have to worry about a thin blood primogen and the embarrassment of having to deal with that. And, well, Mr. Holland is an expectable loss. He was in charge of it all, so he had to be the mastermind. He must have been coming for your head next. Eleonora knows the game.
So let's entertain this idea for a second. How do we play the game in our favor? Because outright killing her is near impossible, let alone what we would say to the prince.
Not during a night, anyways.
No. No. You're doing that martyr thing.
Thought.
You're doing the martyr thing again. I'm not having that. No.
I'm not saying I would do it alone.
Who would you take with you? None of us can go out and date.
You're talking about bringing people from... Like Rudy. You would. You would take one of my staff members and... Okay. Even
Does
if I
she have
agree-
any defenses during the day?
Absolutely. And I can't say that I've seen them, but I will say no one's been bold enough to try and attack her during the day. See, in the Sabbat, we have thin bloods. They exist there too. They tend to guard their masters fervently. You just don't have a choice in the matter if they want to survive long enough to see the next dawn.
I wasn't aware she had any thin bloods.
She doesn't. She doesn't like them. She thinks they're a blight, an abomination.
Well, that will make negotiations go smoothly.
She'll never say it to your face, though. It's too low for her to insult such lowly creatures. It's one of those things where she thinks there's such a pitiful existence that you have to almost feel sorry for them. Almost.
So any deal that Acer is about to make is probably going to be null and void because she's not going to treat him as an equal.
I would say that until I found out he was a primogen. See, Acer's a particular problem that I think a lot of kindred in this city are now understanding is a problem. Yes, he's a thin blood. Traditionally, thin bloods, you can really push them around and no one's going to give two shits. In fact, if you kill one, Dragos might just say, here's an entire city block of territory, just as the courtesy payment for taking care of his problem. But Acer's different. He's notable. Dragos has been shooting for the thin bloods for a while. When Eleanor became sheriff, the first thing he wanted to do was make sure they were in line and, well, cleanse the unnecessary population. The strain on the food, so to speak. Quite a few thin bloods met the final death within a week that you'll never know about. There are more than you think in most cities. But here's the problem. It's never been even heard of for a thin blood to have status. Acer, you're a primogen. That gives her pause. She can't just rip your head off. She has to have a pretty good reason. And I'm assuming whatever event made you primogen had to be big enough where Dragos had to get involved. Because the last I heard, you were a joke.
Nathaniel came to town.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, if I recall the events correctly, he was the one who declared Acer primogen. That wasn't Dragos' thing, but Dragos didn't really fight against it, obviously.
Of course not. Dragos would have to double down on his decision. Nathaniel would not be a patient Archon, if I remember him on the battlefield, to tolerate a mock position.
He was anything but patient.
He's not known for his patience.
So, then we're going to go back to where we started. How do we play this game? Because we do have a hound and a primogen. But we're going up against a sheriff and possibly a prince.
Look, Dragos is busy doing something. I don't know what. I wasn't privy to that information. I'm not a hound. What has me concerned is that if Dragos is so busy that he's willing to delegate so much to Eleonora, that any type of long game, Eleonora is going to outlast all of you.
What if she was no longer sheriff?
I'm not sure how you'd accomplish that. That's a long game. You would need something pretty damning to convince Dragos that she is unworthy of being sheriff. Short of treason. Especially because she has done so much to put him in the position that he's in.
Look, this is all really good advice. This is why I have to go tomorrow and do this, because I just need a little more time. If she starts figuring things out, she's going to be able to come after us and make up any story she wants. It's sad to say, but right now the biggest win is just getting more time. If we have that, maybe we just corrode a few things here and there.
Look, all I can contribute to that is two things, and this is all I got, unless you want to be more specific about what you're looking for. But one, If you're going out after Eleanor, my best recommendation is hit her hard, hit her fast. It's one of those situations, at least in my opinion, it's easier to say I'm sorry than it is to ask for permission. If she's dead, you beat her at her own game. So, time, the more time you buy, the more time it gives her to figure out what's going on, and she will outlast you. She's done it more than once. She knows that game. She will beat you at that game. But, if you're looking for allies, you might want to look at that Bruja that used to be sheriff. What's his name? Damien? He was not happy to be knocked down a peg.
No, he wasn't.
He also didn't really care for the Sombra.
He doesn't necessarily care. It's not the La Sombra he doesn't care about. You specifically, he was apprehensive about. You don't really have the best reputation with that clan.
But it still prevented Genghis from trying to start a fight at Elysium, and he seemed to respect me for that.
That's what I mean. He's one of the few that actually think more than 2 or 3 steps ahead. A lot of Bruja have a tendency of rah, go team, fight oppression, blah, blah, blah. He has that, but he liked the position he was in. As a sheriff, he was doing some good things. But he questioned Dragos.
Okay. It seems like we're entertaining the idea of actually taking Eleanor out, but that poses one big question. Crescent. Are you okay with this?
I don't think that's fair to ask her that, is it?
I have to. Because in the end, I'm doing all of this for her. For Grayson, Crescent, for you guys.
Crescent, this room is triggering something that hasn't necessarily come to surface in a while. You still feel that bond. It's been weakening. You know it has. You've been able to question Eleanor. You've been able to think more likely, but now this has reached elevated states. These are actual potential threats. Enzo is threatening, Acer's conspiring, and Mr. Hollingham's allowing it to happen, even adding to the fire in his own way. And that urge to run out of this room as fast as possible to warn her is bubbling to the surface. We're going to have to go ahead and do something we haven't done in a while, and you're going to see if you can resist your blood bond.
I don't believe this is one of the last times.
It might be one of the most definitive ones, too.
Oh, sorry, guys.
See what happens.
We're getting towards the end of the night, so I might blood back.
Because this is going to do one of 2 things. First off, it's just going to prove my point. That you next to me while you're still blood bonded is going to go horrible for negotiations. Because in case I have to be a prick, which I'm hoping I don't have to be.
It sounds like you're hoping that I lose, in which case somebody's going to need to stop me and fast.
Well, we're going to find out.
I'll get the book.
We're going to find out in a moment, because I need you to go ahead and give me a resolve plus intelligence. Neither which of your strong suit.
So 5
You have blood bags.
And then hunger dice as well, right?
In this case, it is a standard test, so yes, it does include blood dice.
Okay. If it's okay with everybody, I'd like to pull...
Oh.
I'd rather you not do what you're on just telling you to do. So go ahead and take some bags.
Yeah, I would rouse the blood, but I can't afford that right now.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so the problem
cool.
is how much to pull. Should I pull 2 or 3?
How comfortable are you with your dice currently?
5 of them.
I will warn, and I may be ruling this wrong. Let's see here. Taking dice will give you a better chance, possibly. But a messy critical in this could have disastrous consequences.
But I can't.
You can't reroll reds.
Cannot reroll reds.
Reroll reds, but I could spend a willpower to reroll if it.
You can reroll blacks, but if you get 2 red dice on a critical, it's up to you. I will be frank, this is a very definitive roll. I'm not going to tell you what your how your chances are looking, because that would give you too much information. But there is a risk on either way, which is why we have this temptation. I will warn you, a missy critical here will have disastrous consequences.
What do you think?
Should I pull 2 or 3?
If you have 5, I'd say that's a pretty good chance. So if you're going to pull, 2 might be the better option.
Grace. And I will pull 2.
You pull 2 blood from the bag.
I trust my coterie.
You trust the martyr? Oh my god, horrible idea.
Alright. Roll your check.
This works soon happen. I throw the book at you, it eats a lot of you and maybe torpors you, but torpors you. It's fixable.
Can we not? Please? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Very correct. Okay.
I'm suddenly remembering a conversation about Derek advising us to stake Crescent and bury her in concrete for 6 months.
I don't
not
like
do that.
Please?
Because there's way too much of power creep that could happen, and that's not with us.
Only 1 critical and it's on the regular dice. Yay!
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Just don't get a red.
Blink. Success. That is 4 successes, but I'm debating if I want to use a willpower to roll that last black to possibly get another crit.
It's up to you. You can burn a willpower if you'd like.
We're nearing the end of the night. I'm going to burn a willpower for that.
Alright, you take a point of willpower damage. Go ahead and reroll that black die.
And if you do, and if you do.
No, it's just regular success. So that still goes up to... So it's 5 successes. Just not a crit.
Okay, that's still good.
That's still good!
5 successes with no messy crits.
No messy crits!
So, there's palpable threats in this room, Crescent. So become very aware that this is not just casual water cooler talk anymore. This is the basis of actual subterfuge. But you know, Eleonora's really been pushing you for a long time. A lot of things you don't really agree with. Tell me, if it boiled down to it, would you pick Enzo over Eleonora?
Yeah.
You still feel that pull to defend your sire, to run out of this room, to grab Enzo by the back of his hair and present him gift-wrapped, because you know it'd please her so much if you did. But why do you have to give everything to her all the time? At every turn you try to please her. At every turn you defended her, and you played her game. And as all the information that came out tonight, you've discovered you've been playing a game. You've been her pawn, her knight even. Maybe it's time that she does get taken down a peg and gets what's coming to her. You're able to hold off your bond. Perhaps the time that Myers has spent with you and his little gift that he's left behind has been slowly eroding Eleonora's iron grasp and rusting it.
Grayson, don't throw the book at me.
Do you say that out loud?
No, I'm just out of character.
Okay, Grayson would be like, what? How would I do that? You want that to happen?
I mean, technically speaking, from what we know of the book with her potency, you're going to get a lot of pages if he drinks.
Gosh, you fucking there.
However,
Again, out of character.
However, your bond is resisted for now.
I know it's unfair to ask, but I'm only going there risking my life because you want to save them both. If you had to choose one or the other.
I had to choose.
If you really want me to try and save her, I will do it for you. I will go over there and try to make a deal with her. But everything that Enzo is saying, it doesn't look like it's going to go well for me. Granted, it doesn't go well. I guarantee you that what's in that letter will make it so she will lose her position permanently. And he will take over as the new sheriff.
I pulled up the letter that's been sitting on the desk.
Yeah.
This.
Everything in there, word for word, is based on the condition that I do not come back. And if that happens, you have all the ammo you need to take her down and take her place.
I mean, Dragos would probably love another Tremere as sheriff.
So, if we're not trying to save her, there's no point in me going anywhere.
Okay, this is a lot. This is like a lot.
Why do you think I just said you should just let me die? Crescent, you are hell-bent on saving Eleanor, and that's fine. You've always been a good person. Here's the hard reality, though, and you're going to have to face this. There is not a world where she and I exist in the same place. And if there is, I don't physically see how it's possible. She knows I'm here. I know she knows I'm here. She's not stupid. That little coffee filter of whatever was in it is not going to convince her for more than maybe about 2 seconds that the ghosts she has are about as dumb as bricks.
Oh, that was Duncan.
Different topic, different night. Want to talk about it if I live. Hard truth is, I don't see a world where we both can exist. And I know there's not a way for me to run far enough or fast enough where she won't drag me back and get what she wants. And you're not even going to be able to throw yourself onto the pyre and take a page from Mr. Marding Thinblood over here. Because given a choice, she'll eat me over you any day.
So I use that to my advantage.
The hell are you talking about, love?
She's not going to hurt me.
She won't diablerize you, but she will work around you. Besides, if she suddenly ordered you to bring me in, how the hell are you going to be able to tell her no?
That's why you need to stay away.
You're a hound. She's kept you exactly where she wants you. Do you think she's dumb enough to think that you're not entirely bonded to her? That you don't go to the church as often as you used to, at least when I remember? She knows.
I've gone quite a bit this past month just to keep up appearances. So I'd be surprised if she's catching on, but...
She's a very paranoid woman. She's always expecting everyone to turn against her because that's how she's lived. That's how she survived. I would not be so remiss to have her suspect.
I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to lose anybody.
Then it's settled.
No, it's not. If you stand in the middle of the road, you're going to get hit. I need to pick a side.
For what it's worth, I don't think it's fair for you to pick. That's why I said to let me go.
And that's not happening.
You really don't get the fact that she actually likes you.
No, I get that fact. And it's because I like her as well that I was trying to make that decision, but unfortunately she's put me in a position where I can't make that decision.
Yeah, you're not leaving.
I know. Why do you think I asked Mr. Holland if I could stay? Because I don't really have a choice. Even if I wanted to leave right now, which I would go running to her to save your existence, I physically can't. And if I can't live for more than 5 seconds, well, that defeats the purpose now, doesn't it?
Well, good. Then this needs to be taken care of within the month.
Wait a minute. Are you...
Little pretty side effect of coming back from torpor, I needed a lot of blood. Shut up. I will punch your baby teeth out of your face and make you choke on them.
Oh, you made him embarrassed.
Wipe that fucking smile off your face, then, blood.
What did I just miss? I seem to have skipped a step here.
Your thin blood's overstepping his bounds, and I'm about to rip his guts out and choke him with it.
No, you're not.
Yeah. It took a lot of blood to get him back, and now he's bonded to, Yeah. Enzo, what is the criteria in order to bond someone?
Vitae.
Just Vitae?
A kindred has to ingest a certain amount of your Vitae. And it depends on the individual. Some need less, some need more, some need a lot more. It's not exact science.
He has that look in his eye again.
Oh, God, no. This is when bad ideas spark.
No, this is the face he makes when he makes his own situation worse. This is exactly what I'm fucking talking about. This is the same exact face he made before he ousted Newberry and became a fucking joke.
Actually, he kind of elevated himself pretty well.
That's what you call it.
My friend, this just became an exact science. I know how we're going to take her down.
The hell you talking about, Thin Blood?
Here we go.
I wait to hear this one.
We're going to blood bond Eleonora.
How do you know that she can be blood bonded?
Oh, we'll know.
All right, you can stop being the cryptic, I'm leading up to a really good idea thing and just lay out the good idea. That'd be really, let's just get to the point here.
You know,
it's been a long night.
I don't want to boost her ego any more than it already is because she can boss me around like a dog, but you know what? You might want to get to the fucking point because you're kind of
Okay, I'm really
circles.
trying not to do that.
You just gave me 2 orders in this room for not strangling this fucking idiot, and he's already got a dumb idea.
We're going to blood bond her to Crescent.
What?
Excuse me.
What? No, please. What? Let him. No, hold on. Let him elaborate.
Yeah.
He has some.
That's not even close to something that could happen.
What is your... Please explain this, Acer. I am now... You have my full attention.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's just entertain this idea for a second.
And don't forget that you can't be bonded and then bond your bonder. That's not how it works. She's still bonded. She has a month.
Yeah, which means we'd have to wait out a month, and it's just like Enzo said, we can't give her any more time. I still have a month. Well, granted,
he wants to capture her.
3.5 weeks.
You want to fucking capture her, don't you?
Fair. So then we won't bond her to you. I'll turn to Enzo. We'll bond her to you.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I can see this working.
By all means, please explain yourself!
He looks over to you. Mr. Holland, does he do this a lot? Does he have these just momentary bouts of insanity where you want to euthanize him like a rabid dog? Like, is this common?
I mean, we all just discovered a book of Vlad the Impaler, and I am more frightened of this than that. I turn over to my drawer and I get very close and I whisper to it. You're lovely.
So listen.
Yes!
Right now, I have the perfect subjects. One who is blood bonded, but for some reason, because of some interference, now can no longer be bonded, no matter how much she drinks. And we got one who is already bonded to that one specifically. If I can study your guys' blood and figure out the bonding agent, the thing that connects you two together, I can isolate it, make a serum, and then have her bonded to someone, thereby making the queen into a pawn.
Look, there's no science that needs to be done. This isn't a science, Acer. It's a curse. You don't need a special serum. Technically, all you need is just the Vitae.
And what I'm saying is, right now, I can make it so we can, instead of just having the Vitae and having her bond to whoever she's feeding off of, if I isolate that thing, I can make it so she is bonded to anyone we choose.
All you need is that individual's blood. And it has to be that individual's blood. Every single kindred is specific. There's no, my blood is her blood. Yes, we both came from the same sire, but my blood is different than her blood. My abilities are different than her abilities. You could think Vitae like a fingerprint.
Even better. Even more so.
Dangerous card to hold over someone's head.
Look, I'm just saying, if we can get her bonded to someone, we effectively take out the most powerful point of her. Her control. The fact that she bonds everyone else. She's in everyone's ear. But if she's no longer the puppet master, if we cut those strings...
Then comes the next problem. How are you gonna force feed a bunch of Vitae down her throat?
Short of all of us jumping her at the same time, staking her in the chest, and then locking her up somewhere and shoving it all down her throat at once. I don't see how you're going to do that.
Holy ghouls will allow that.
Guys, we have hospitals. We don't need to feed it to her. We inject it into her.
You're still talking about the sheriff.
Element of surprise.
He wants to ambush her.
Oh my god.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Why are you getting excited, Grayson?
Do I sound excited? Because it's more of shock.
This legitimately solves our problem of having to pick sides. You want to save her? This is the way to do it. Because in the end, if what he's saying is true, which I'm starting to believe him 100%, nothing short of killing her is going to solve any of this.
Look, he's blood bonded to me. He can't lie right now.
Hence my point.
To be frank, I don't really want to lie to begin with. I now suddenly have a house and food. I don't really want to lose that. I'm literally living off a Razor's budget here. Homeless people envy me right now, okay? For the record. No offense, Mr. Holland. The place is fancy.
You feel in a month.
Look,
I already told you my honest feelings about that.
This just only proves my point. You are the one who has to choose, because I will not do a single thing unless you do. Because if it were up to me, I'm siding with Enzo.
I guess
so we keep her blood bonded for a month? Or forever? Or
keep her blood bonded long enough to where someone, anyone, which is why I suggested Enzo, because he's currently not blood bonded to her, can order her to step down from her position, have her choose someone else, get rid of all her power, and make it so the only way she's going to get it back is nothing short of just betraying you.
Okay.
And at that point, you have your answer.
Let's pretend.
You should let her live or not.
Let's pretend for a moment that the crazy thin blood in the room is making sense. Let's just pretend for 5 seconds. You would need a lot. Eleonora is old. She has strong convictions. And Crescent, you and I both know this situation. There are times, even at our worst, there were moments of clarity where we can maneuver. It is not always ironclad. The problem is you can make it ironclad, but you need to make it a lot, and that's dangerous. I have seen severe blood bonds in the past. I have seen severe blood bonds so much that the individual, I have to be completely honest, You do it enough, you can make someone go insane where they look at you and think you are literally God. If he existed, if God was actually a thing and he suddenly dropped down right in front of you, whatever reaction you think you would have, suddenly being in front of your creator, that is the level of zealousy that you probably would need to guarantee her not try to wiggle out of it.
Oh, what if we can switch that where instead of a lot, it's just super potent?
It doesn't quite work that way. Look, the more you give her, the harder it will be for her to retain her own free decisions. And to a certain degree, she won't even be aware of it. But in this case, since you kind of have to ambush her, that she will always be questioning her own motives. If she's working for me, if we're using me as an example, don't want to do that. Don't appreciate being the scapegoat, by the way. But for hypothetical reasons, she is bonded to me, she will always know that if she is siding with me, if she is defending with me, she will know it's her bond, and she will actively work to try and resist it. The only way to guarantee that, one, is to do it quickly, severely, and then she never leaves my side. And then it's going to be a eternal game of, I have to constantly keep her fed off me. And she will never be able to leave my side. It's a lot harder to resist it when you're in the room with the person you're bonded to. But if she ever gets away, it gives it more of a chance. But if you're talking about buying time, theoretically, and that's if we're entertaining this idea, if you guys are really that fucking crazy, if you could dose her up very quickly and with a lot of it, a lot of my blood, very quickly, and I was there. On paper, it is possible to take her will away.
Well, if you're asking if it's crazy enough, and I just pull up a piece of paper, I'm currently working on a cell phone that she will be able to use. So yeah, I'm pretty fucking crazy.
That's not as crazy. Typically, the summer can do with enough practice.
Yes, but this, not even gonna have to try.
Mr. Holland, you're in charge of these nut jobs. I have no say in the matter. Do you suddenly need a bucket of my blood? Please say no.
Listen, Enzo, I don't even really know what to make of this situation. If I'm to be honest, that makes as much sense as letting her diablerize you so that she is weaker and now we have a better chance of killing her. Which is already that is... Can you see I don't have a lot of good options here? I don't like any of them. My only thought is she took away, you know how she was leading away my herd. He's converting them, right?
He does that, yes.
What if I were to do it to her?
Not gonna happen.
The problem? Can't use her own tactics against her. I can't undermine her.
That's what she's good at. Her roots go deep, and she's a fucking blight wherever she goes. It's like a rose plant. You can chop it down to the ground, you can salt the earth, you can burn it away, but the next season it pops up again. You can't kill it unless you burn the whole thing to the ground. But on paper, and I'm not giving you credit because I'm still pissed at you now, but on paper, if you were able to dose her up enough with someone's blood, hypothetically mine, and then she never left that individual's side, it'd be a very fine balance of taking her will away or turning it into uncontrolled zealousy. But it is possible. It would have to be fast, it would have to be decisive, and there's no, we'll do it slowly. It's the only feasible way I can see that happening is, one, you stake her, drag her here, and feed her over time with me, or you take enough out of me where you can dose her up all at once. But we don't know how much that would take, but it is also possible.
You could always bury her in cement.
That's definitely not killing her, but to get her locked down long enough to do that is a problem in itself.
Yes.
Look, I'm just coming up with these ideas because, again, I'm going off my first instinct, which is Crescent asked me for help to save her side. The moment that's no longer a thing, I'm on your side, Enzo. I personally don't like her. She's very manipulative. After hearing what happened to you, I can't very much like her.
Please don't talk about that.
Sorry. Just stating, I have more respect for Crescent than I do her. Which is why you just give the word. I'll come up with as many crazy plans as it takes in order for you guys to pick one.
We need to do something tomorrow, though.
I agree. So, here's the options. We try to plan on taking her out, or if we want to keep her alive, we can either buy time, and I'll do my original plan, or the quickest thing we can do, grab a bunch of syringes, pretty much fill him with his blood. I'll hop over to his fridge, pull out a little bag, and just start drinking it. In a slate of hunger.
Oh, God. You remind me of my hunger, and I need some
Yeah, I forgot I had that fridge, so, he's a juice pouch now.
Grayson, frenzy check. Crescent, frenzy check.
I got more bags. Chill, you crazy fox.
It's the smell.
Hope it's less appealing for her, because...
It is extremely, but it's still the smell.
Oh, fun.
What do you got?
Grayson?
What?
Well, I have one success.
I have
God,
4 successes.
Grayson has 4 successes. You have how many successes, Crescent?
1.
1 success.
You can't re-roll any of those?
Not that.
It's not on frenzy checks. You
Not on
can't.
frenzies? Oh, okay.
You had to pull out the bag.
I thought it happened at 4, not 3. My bad.
Frenzy checks can happen, I think, anytime after 3. I thought.
3
Or
and
they can
above.
happen anytime.
It can happen anytime. It could happen
See, I
anytime,
thought
but
it
it's
was
more likely the more hungry you get, and 1 success would not be enough. Moment Acer pops open that
I'm
bag,
overwhelmed.
you have been pushed, and immediately the fangs come out, but you don't want that bag. You can smell it from here. It is repulsive. You've been pushed. You have been prodded. This has been emotional. You've gotten into fights. You've been bossed around. You've been insulted. Fuck, you need a bite to eat. And there are 3 valid kindred, one of which maybe be a snack. There are 2 valid kindred in this room that you need a bite from.
There's 2, not 3.
I'm not biting into the Sahara Desert again.
Currently, you are slipping into a hunger frenzy, and Acer, the moment you take a sip of that bag, Grayson, Acer, and Enzo, you both look to see Crescent as she white knuckles and her eyes blacken over. Crescent, you are starving. And you need to eat someone. You need food. You need it now. And unless you want to burn a willpower, you need food now.
Enzo, help.
Then I'll go to somebody in the center. Gosh, all right. Okay.
No, you can burn a willpower and then just look at either Grayson or Enzo and be like, I need to eat now. Please hurry.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn a willpower.
Take a point of superficial willpower damage as the fangs are out. You are salivating. Your eyes have gone black, but you have a moment of clarity as this room suddenly became very dangerous, and you are highly aware of it.
Damn it, Acer.
Sorry. Want a bag?
Someone stop. I'm gonna start heading towards the door. Rapid reflex, I don't want to eat anybody here.
For fuck's
It's
sake.
not rational, but...
Enzo is immediately going to jump in front of you and with a quick slash straight across his wrist and hold it open. Just fucking do it.
I can't resist at this point, so I'm going for it.
And you immediately bite down. Luckily, Enzo just fed.
That's why I asked Enzo.
And you're able to slate yourself down to 1 and stop the frenzy.
Sorry about that. I didn't know that. You want a bag?
I don't want a fucking bag.
I would like a bag,
I was
please.
talking to Enzo, but here you go. And then I toss one to Grayson.
Enzo puts a finger up as Crescent finally does pull away. There is a small momentary look between Crescent and Enzo as he does look down at you. His teeth are gritted, but he does very gently push you back, Crescent. For the record, Acer, you're lucky she's here, or I would have just turned you into pudding. 2, I'm very much on her side. I don't eat bagged garbage.
Closes the fridge. Right.
Well, don't worry, it's not your fault. I just thought it might be a good idea not to suddenly turn these halls into a bloodbath when I just moved in. Thanks for that, Acer.
Sorry.
Enzo covers his hands. Okay, fine. Crescent, I don't think it's fair to make this decision, but I have to throw my vote in here.
I'm not surrendering you.
For once, I'm not going to suggest that.
Oh, refreshing.
If you are so hell-bent for some reason on keeping Eleonora alive, trying to fix her, you know I can't stop you right now. So, the only options here, because time is not something you guys want to dabble with, and I think the only viable options are going to be Staker, which is noticeable after some time, or Blood Bond her. Now I'm going to go eat some more if we're going to get enough to do so. But frankly, I'm going to say something also. To you, Mr. Holland. Aren't you in charge?
I am.
Then why aren't you being in charge?
You don't fucking push me.
I'm sorry. I'm a little testy right now. And
Don't. You don't. Not tonight. Not after what I've had to go through this fucking place running. I think all of us need to separate, concentrate on whatever we're thinking we need to do, and go about it. Because obviously tonight has been a little bit too much of a strain on everybody. So I'm going to say this. As I look at my watch, what time is it? Originally?
it is very late. Probably sunrise maybe in 2 hours.
It is almost sunrise. That means it's time to start winding down. I'm going to further study what I can from the book. Tomorrow night, I am hopefully maybe be able to add to the list of solutions. Enzo, first welcome here as part of our agreement. Acer, please be careful. Any research that needs to be done, anything that you think you need to be prepped with, please do so. Preston, we'll help Enzo find a place to stay. Discreetly, along the hallways. I'm sure he already knows them.
If it's all the same, I thought it would be safest to stay in her room.
I was just going to suggest. Should we keep an eye? Yes, I think that would be best. Well, I think this is a good place for us to disengage. Ace, sorry, Ace, one last thing. May I have that last bag?
Toss him the bag.
Excellent. And I immediately just right into it. Right away.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not. It's like
It's not that bad, but okay.
like
Leslie's got a point. Let's just reconvene. Did you just say white? What?
it's like drinking a White Claw. It's like, what is this? Why would you not?
Okay, I'm definitely going to bed now.
Ugh. Trying to stave off the thought.
I'm gonna go get a nightcap and I'll see you soon.
He's not the same person.
I'm not dumb.
Let's all reconvene tomorrow when everybody's refreshed.
Excellent. I like this idea. And also, if anybody hears anything from our...
Onyx?
Yes.
I'm gonna go get a snack. You all can let me know what's gonna happen. I might as well prepare. And with that, everyone begins to fade off in their own directions. Because it is late, I will like to just get a general inquiry as what does the rest of you wish to do in the last few hours of the evening, and what do you all intend to do at the start of your next day? Acer specifically, because you could fuck around in the day if you so choose, which is concerning.
Yeah, I can.
Don't you fucking dare.
Them daywalkers.
I know, he's gonna go walk around the church just,
Oh, jeez.
I'm just here scoping out the place. That's a nice booth. I've been in there before. Mass is starting.
I'm just here for a safety inspection.
I gotta scope out the place and possibly burn it down. Anyways,
I'll say if you were trying to wake up early, if you have any fuckery you want to do in the morning, I would say the earliest that you could push yourself, I give it a 12-hour clock, you probably can get as early as late afternoon, but any time you wake up during the day is time that's going to cause you to sleep earlier in the night. I'll say it's a fair trade-off.
Fair. So what I'll do for now is, for the last, you said 2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to hang out with Medical.
Ooh.
I'm just going to talk to her, see how she's doing. If she needs any help the last few hours, I'll help her out. And get her expertise on blood, how it works, all that kind of stuff. Just for future reference.
From a medical standpoint or a supernatural standpoint?
She's a witch.
I'll
go medical first,
mm-hmm.
and then, tomorrow maybe I'll pose some, hypotheticals with magic and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. For the sake of that, we'll talk off camera about what you're able to glean from that. Grayson, 2 hours, not a lot of time left, but what do you want to do for the rest of the evening? And what do you want to prepare for tomorrow?
I'll make preparations as I'm going to go nose deep into that book.
Okay. So, we can talk about that as well. Crescent. If you just want to crash, you can just do that. You don't have to prepare anything if you don't want to.
Nah, she wants to prepare some unknown time.
I was like, she's probably like, my room's a mess.
She just
That's what she's worried about.
She rushes to her tower, starts cleaning everything it's better be a slow
everything's everywhere, so it's just like, okay, just throw this in, throw this there.
While the coterie begins to settle down with plots of espionage to forcibly enslave an elder La Sombra to one of their own, Cressa rushes back to her room and slips into full preteen mode. She has a boy potentially sleeping over, so she needs to make sure this room is clean. I mean, it is filthy.
Let's just rapid reflex it. You might as well use it. Okay, all right. That's all I'm doing.
Supernatural creature, have fun with your ability.
You know what? I might as well. I'm just gonna clean, and then with any extra time, just think on everything that's happened.
So glad that the cameras don't work in her room, if there was any.
There is not.
Even
There's
if
no point.
They can't record.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't work.
Can you imagine Tula Sombra in her room? That place is gonna catch on fire.
No, I was surprised that with the kiss, his power didn't go out.
For now,
oh my God.
As our coterie all break off in the evening, making their own preparations for the last bit of the evening, I will say for Grayson's mind, and so plays ball. Eats. No one dies. And he does retire to Crescent's room. That's 2 experience points for each of you as you did survive the session and the night. Yay. And we will allow our group to sit back and discuss what would be the next option. As there are many, many ideas afoot. But for now, as this night ends, the dawn arises. People wake up in the city and begin to carry on their lives. People go to church. People go to work. People kiss their wives and their husbands goodbye and drop their children off to school. All unaware of the darkness that leaks just beneath the streets and just beneath the surface of Seattle. So for now, we'll say goodnight. And we will reconvene again. Keep an ear out. Scheduling for next week is questionable in some cases, depending on what's going on, but we will see what happens. For now, hug each other close. Keep an eye on one another. Lock your doors and windows. Double check it to be sure. And God bless you all.